a group of kind people. They were actually strangled because of mutual goodwill. This is not a horror story. But upon closer examination, it's even more terrifying than a horror story. The episode featuring the red-nosed deer is the most emotionally nuanced episode in Sword Art Online. It was also the most heartbreaking episode. But more than 10 years later, no one on the entire internet can explain it clearly. What exactly is going on with the character's psychology? This time, we'll combine it with the original novel. Let us truly understand the truth about the Black Cat Gang. Let's first recall Tong's previous experiences. Meanwhile, Sword Art Online closed beta players. When Sword Art Online becomes a death game, they immediately realized, this is no longer a game, it's a battle for survival. Because resource production in the game is limited in time and quantity. When there were only 1,000 players during the closed beta, they would attack each other in order to compete for resources. And now the number of players has reached more than 10,000. Resources are so important that they are a matter of life and death. In order to gain control of survival, the team decided to rely on the game experience and technology accumulated during the closed beta test. Take the Dulong route. Teaming up in swordplay does not increase the total experience gained. Fans soloed the game using their own skills. Resources can be acquired with maximum efficiency. He knows efficient monster spawn points and high-yield quests, leveraging intelligence and technological advantages. Colleagues have always been at the forefront. He was therefore invited. Join the floor boss battle. But the leader used a Japanese-style porcelain technique when he was low on health. Different weapons and moves. This led to the death of Diabell, the leader of the strategy team. Only fan-made content relies on experience fighting high-level monsters. Seeing through the moves, the leader was defeated. Everyone noticed that the fan art was created by a closed beta tester. He was questioned about why he hadn't helped Diabell in his time of need. The mixed-race player mixed in with the strategy guide group took the opportunity to incite conflict. The rumor is that they are providing free motorcycle rides. The second brother and beta testers hired false information, which led to Diabell's death. Everyone knows that second brother is a ruthless information broker. He'd even sell his employer's information for money. But I don't know why he would provide the strategy guide for free. Only fans know. Argo is fulfilling his responsibility as a closed beta player. The reason he tried every means to make money, it was to buy a hard-to-understand strategy guide. Many new players, including Asura, it's all because of the help of strategy guides. Only then did I dare to leave the starting village to kill monsters. Fans are very clear. There must be a constant stream of players leaving the starting village. Only then is it possible to pass the death game. Without a strategy guide, most players don't even dare to go out. To beat the game, also to help my second brother. The fanfiction deliberately amplified everyone's hatred towards the closed beta testers. Attracted to oneself. Then, distance yourself from regular closed beta testers. To eliminate all hostility towards closed beta testers. Meanwhile, the fanfiction writers themselves became universally condemned as reclusive individuals. The animation did not show how much influence the closed-off individuals had on their peers. But in sports films, fans are very distressed. To avoid being recognized by other players, one should return to town. You have to specifically choose the less crowded routes. Several months later, the strategy team had fought through more than 20 levels. My colleagues have also become level 44 experts. When he went to the lower-level areas to collect materials, I stumbled upon a pair of low-level players who were in danger. They all belonged to the same guild, Moonlit Black Cat Guild. To avoid the Black Cat Gang recognizing him as a closed one, when the fan-made Black Cat rescue team, only low-level sword skills were used. After the battle, the group of low-level players cheered, encouraged each other, a warm and friendly atmosphere. This inexplicably touched Tongren, a city known for its long-term lone wolf mentality. Each member of the Black Cat Gang shook hands with the fan. The female player in particular expressed her gratitude by holding the letter with both hands. With teary eyes, she kept repeating her thanks. Arigato. Okay, you've been through a lot with this guy. He brought it to you. Give me a big thumbs up. Hearing these words, seeing my colleagues from back then shedding tears again, I feel so good to be able to help. Afterwards, the Black Cat group expressed their gratitude to the fan artists. I specially bought expensive red wine to treat the guests. President Keita cautiously inquired about fellow fan fiction writers of the same level. Previously, when they were with the Black Cat Gang, they only used low-level sword skills to perpetuate the lie, also to keep their identities confidential. Colleagues can only lie about themselves. Only level 20. The Eunuch Boy's rank was similar to that of the Black Cat Gang, another toxic player. So we invited our colleagues to join the guild, because the Black Cat Gang only has one forward. But there are no healers in Sword Art Online. The only way to restore health is with crystals and potions. Crystals are expensive and rare items. Use only when your life is at stake. I usually rely on potions to restore my health. However, the medicine works slowly, and you cannot be attacked during the healing period. Players typically have two forwards in their team, take turns tanking damage and taking turns healing. The Black Cat Gang was previously in danger. It's because the team only has one forward to respond. Can't keep up with the consumption maniac. Previously, the Black Cat Gang mainly helped tank monsters, based on the content of the competition section, the way the children's playground fights monsters. precise parrying of full-body weapons. Keita could tell that Dujen was a master of parrying. Therefore, I want to use a letter with a relatively low skill value in guiding political affairs. Change class to Sword and Shield Vanguard. But this caught Shin completely off guard. He is quiet and timid. Close quarters combat with monsters would be extremely stressful. Note: the entire Black Cat gang knows that they are afraid of fighting monsters, but everyone supported him playing as a striker. This is unreasonable. Players who have tackled high-difficulty dungeons in MMOs know the forward is the core of the team. Sword Art Online. The forwards were even more aware of the life-or-death situation that affected everyone. Usually, it's the experts who are put in charge. I've always been puzzled by this. Why did the Black Cat gang choose the timid Shin as their vanguard? Until later, in sports films, it was discovered. Experience and skill proficiency gained when teaming up. It is allocated based on the damage dealt and the damage resistance. I only then realized the Black Cat gang probably wanted to help him gain experience and build his courage. The letter's skill proficiency is relatively low. This indicates that he caused relatively little damage in the past. The level is definitely relatively low. If this continues, they will fall behind. And letting Shin play as the forward not only allows him to benefit from the experience bonus of winning, it can also hone courage. Hey, the entire Black Cat gang warmly welcomes their colleagues. Can be used as a concealer of level. My colleagues knew they shouldn't have joined the Black Cat gang, but their pure camaraderie inspired their colleagues. Tongren does not like being alone. Previously, I took the lone wolf route. It is the survival pressure of the death game. But now I'm a high-level player. Deep in my heart, colleagues also want new partners. After a mental struggle, emotion triumphed over reason. Then why can't you? Let's first take a look at the backgrounds of the Black Cat gang members. Black Cat gang members in real life. They were all members of the Computer Research Club at the same high school. Therefore, the atmosphere is more harmonious than in other guilds. The founder and president of the Thai Black Cat Group, the team's spiritual core beggar, has a strong sense of responsibility towards his companions. In most decisions, companions are given priority. The other members also strongly supported Kite's decision, given that his leadership was significantly superior to that of the other members. It is speculated that the other person is likely the president of a computer research lab in reality. The spearman is kind, quiet, and timid. He is slow to operate, fear of death and fighting, not suitable for playing hardcore games like Sword Art Online. He was probably pulled in by other members of the Black Cat gang. The original novel mentions that Taihei's new home was very close to his. It is speculated that Chitai is the most likely suspect. Possesses top-tier emotional insight. Not only can they perceive the unspoken emotions of their companions, it can also accurately predict the future emotions of fanfiction. The other three members didn't help anyone understand the plot. Let's skip to the rest of the story. Fanfiction conceals level. After joining the Black Cat gang, he was only responsible for tanking the monsters. It will not expose the harm. It also allows your companions to fight monsters and gain experience. The team has a second striker. Upgrade speed greatly improved, perhaps because the upgrade was too fast. When Jingtai saw the strategy team's Zero-Win King break through the floor, this also sparked my desire to join the strategy guide group. Maybe they'd still know if they drank it. It feels like a fanfic. Someone who has been in a strategy guide group. He knew that the strategy guides weren't clearing floors just to complete the game. Rather, it was to monopolize upper-level resources, standing above the crowd. But Chitai joined the strategy team because he genuinely wanted to beat the game. Liberate all players. Furthermore, all members of the Black Cat gang supported Chitai's idea. This pure ideal makes fanfiction feel, if the Black Cat gang really attacks the strategy group, it can more or less change the closed-off atmosphere of high-end gamers. Therefore, Tongren decided to help the Black Cat gang charge into the front lines, without revealing his identity, leading the Black Cat gang to the monster hunting spot at the university. The Black Cat group also worked very hard because of their idealistic drive. Intermediate and advanced players generated in a short period of time. Even savings are constantly increasing. Even buying guild rooms has become a possibility. But only the new transformation plan has stalled. Tai Xiong's words mean the Black Cat Guild had been saving money to buy guild rooms. But the spearman suggested that they use the money to buy equipment for Shin first. This is tantamount to investing public resources in credit, originally intended to help Shin transform. But now her expression suddenly turned sour. Others also supported buying transition equipment. This puts more pressure on Yin. Animation because of its audio-visual presentation. The Black Cat gang expressed their apologies to Tong and urged Shin to hurry up. The emotions are more intense in the original work. The entire Black Cat gang was very considerate of Shin's feelings. No one has urged sexual transition. Therefore, his colleagues have long served as Shin's striker. Although my colleagues never cared about tanking monsters because of their high level, there has never been a rush to transform the credit reporting system. But others were unaware of the true grade of copper. Using colleagues who joined midway as human shields, the Black Cat gang felt extremely guilty. Although the relationship is good, no one spoke out. But performance is sharp. Observe everyone's emotions. His cowardice caused trouble for his companions. Japanese people are very averse to causing trouble for others in social interactions. The better a person is, the less trouble you cause others. If the other party is a good friend, that's why you shouldn't cause trouble for your friends. The Black Cat Gang because of goodwill. No one spoke out. This actually makes Sex feel more guilty. He could only force himself to engage in close combat with the monster. I'm worried that he's not a combat-oriented player. For him, in the game of death, facing a monster is like facing death, ultimately under the dual pressure of death and guilt. Wear a cloak with stealth properties, quietly left his companion. Because of the cloak's concealment properties, the Black Cat Gang's location is not visible in the guild chat. You usually can't see your location unless you're in a maze. The Black Cat was very worried about its safety. Immediately mobilize all personnel to search the maze. Only Grandpa Tong was looking for people in town. He has advanced tracking skills. Footprints can be seen. Due to concealed level, this can't be told to the Black Cat Gang. He could only track it down alone. Fortunately, Tongren was alone. Otherwise, they might run away if they see other people. There are only comrades in the gang. Because of my high level, I'm not in a hurry to get my credit score checked. Transformation performance insights into public sentiment. Therefore, fanfiction is the thing that puts the least pressure on him, and the life-saving needle for colleagues and their long-term help in tanking monsters. Let Star has great trust in pupil. Therefore, he would confide his vulnerable side to his colleagues. Why could the child who was startled by the sexuality find him? Colleagues, in order to conceal their ranks. I can only lie and say I found it by intuition. This made Shinwei smile, but she didn't say anything more. He just kept his head down and remained silent. At this point, you should first use empathy and honesty to bridge the gap, then use encouragement to pull people back from despair. But this is the first time that shonen fan fiction has encountered this situation. I don't know how to persuade them. He held it in for a long time before finally speaking. The Black Cat Gang was very worried about him and searched for him throughout the maze. Tell Shin to hurry back to the hotel. This is an ineffective method of persuasion. This only made Shin's expression even more unpleasant. Shin lowered his head and fell into a long silence. A faint sound was emitted 12 minutes later. Whether it's running away with fellow fans or escape Sword Art Online, all of these are unrealistic. Shin said unrealistic things because he was under severe pressure, but his colleagues were unaware of the pressure the letter was under. He thought Shinjin wanted to quit the game. After thinking for a long time, I cautiously asked, does this mean they're going to end their own lives together? The colleagues' naivety made sex somewhat unexpected. Some were also touched. After a brief silence, the letter suggests that ending one's own life isn't a bad idea, but he lacked the courage to face death. Otherwise, they wouldn't stay in the town. This indicates that Zeng had considered his biological children. Most biological parents doubt their own worth. Shin is a novice player who is not good at fighting. He was afraid of death, facing the fear of battle. He was so stressed that he couldn't even sleep. He was unaware that he was in this world where fighting was the primary objective. What is its value? What is the meaning of this death game that I asked my colleagues? If at this time the fan said, meaning is not something that can be found. It was made by us. Then, based on the new advantages he gained, he was encouraged to realize his self-worth. That would make it easy to bring the letter back, but still the boy's enemy. I don't know how to respond. He can take the line back, but without eradicating the biological source, the letter will run away again, to pull Shin back from the brink of suicide. Fan fiction can only be believed through well-intentioned lies. Make sure he doesn't die. The colleague's guarantee is baseless. He asked himself why he was so certain he wouldn't die. Colleagues could only earnestly and desperately lie. My heart was very surprised. He looked up at his colleagues. I asked myself again if I could really survive until the end of the game. Because he was lying, Pupil dared not look directly into those eyes. He could only bow his head and promise that Shin wouldn't die. I'm sure I'll survive until the game is over. Grandpa Tong remained calm when he lied in the animation. He did not show any remorse for lying. This is actually very important. The original work describes what fan fiction says as having no persuasive power. It has no weight. She should know that her colleagues are telling white lies. He cried not because he believed Tong's words. It was because he saw his colleagues trying to pull him back. This earnest but clumsy, desperate attempt to protect the bomb. He was moved to tears by this sentiment. Although the lie was clumsy and false, but the heartfelt encouragement was utterly sincere. This is warmer to the letter than any truth. Why? However, my colleague felt extremely guilty for deceiving the other party. She silently made up her mind. A must-play game with protective measures. As long as the lie is completed, then the lie is not a lie. Afterwards, my colleague returned to the hotel with the letter. Let Shin go back to his room to rest first. He told the black demons from the first floor. It will take longer for the company to complete its transformation. If possible, it would be better to let him continue as a spearman. I can continue to play as a striker. After the Black Cat Gang experienced this incident, I only just realized how terrifying the new team's battles were. Previously, Shin wanted to avoid holding the team back. I've always expressed my fear in a relatively cheerful way. This led the Black Cats to misjudge the extent of his fear, so they simply didn't seem to care much about their timidity. He even laughed. If you really know that sexual fear is causing insomnia, he probably wouldn't make fun of him like that. although Shin did not become a striker afterward. But I still couldn't fall asleep. He goes to sleep in the same room every night. As long as Tongren says she won't die, trust will help you fall asleep peacefully. The animation included a bed scene where they slept together under the same blanket. But the original work clearly states that the two never slept in the same bed. They are not in a romantic relationship. There were no words of love spoken. Tongren needs to be placed next to the bed to be comfortable. WeChat is covered with a new blanket. You can only see childlike innocence by looking upwards. Combining these three pieces of information, speculatively, he slept on a makeshift bed next to the bed. He also believes that his relationship with sex is closer. Wildcats licking each other's wounds. Because of his words, fear was forgotten. He used sex-dependent mice. The guilt of abandoning lower-level players. Colleagues have always been at the forefront. He only realized it after touching the line. So it turns out novice players are afraid of combat. At the bottom level, there are countless players fighting with the same fear in their hearts. But he abandoned all the players back then. Exclusive closed beta intelligence. Charging to the front line. You can easily acquire a large amount of resources yourself. But countless players at the bottom are struggling to survive. This made the fanfiction writers feel guilty. So he used the Guardian Letter and the Black Cat Gang to eliminate his guilt. Every night, I believe from the bottom of my heart. Make sure he doesn't die. He plans to train the Black Cat Gang to join the strategy team. Complete the game as soon as possible. Less than a month later, the Black Cat Gang had saved enough money to buy the room. Everyone wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to buy a room at Kai Tai. Go to the upper levels to grind monsters, earn money, and buy furniture. Give the president a surprise. In terms of the Black Magic Company's level, no problem fighting monsters on the upper levels. But my comrades fought in the upper echelons. He knew that the upper level of the labyrinth had many traps. However, due to the concealment of the level, Tongren couldn't bring himself to say it. The Black Cat Gang later discovered a treasure chest in the maze. Tongren strongly advocated against opening treasure chests. He knew there were traps disguised as treasure chests on the upper levels. But actually they didn't know. They asked their colleagues why they didn't open the treasure chest. Colleagues cannot disclose their true rank. He could only stammer out the words. It looks dangerous. That's completely unconvincing. Everyone knows what happened next. The influencer is too inexperienced. Just replace it with any Chinese player. They were able to fool the black demons. You can lie and say you saw a treasure chest trap in Ali's newspaper. It can also be nonsense, developing a keen sense of danger while discussing toxicity. But my colleagues were clinging to Jiaoxing Xinli, a sense of wishful thinking. Watching the black cat porcupine open treasure chests, the treasure chest sounded an alarm. Monsters swarmed in. Colleagues immediately instructed everyone to use the transfer crystal. However, the room is one of the few areas where crystals are ineffective. His colleagues did not know what he said before he died. All I know is that I have failed the trust placed in me. If it weren't for my selfishness in concealing my rank, the Black Cat Gang will not be wiped out. The whole protecting the Black Cats thing is nonsense. I am nothing more than a sinner who finds self-satisfaction in helping the weak. I have always been a selfish and closed-off person. After returning to the city, he told Chitai about the annihilation of his team and his identity as a closed-off individual. Chitai is the spiritual core of the Black Cat Gang. But the Black Cat Gang is also the spiritual pillar of Chitai. He created the Black Cat Group. It was all to bring every single one of my companions back to reality. Since our companion is gone, there's no point in continuing the game then. Chitai's faith made his colleagues feel even more guilty. He didn't know what value he had left as a sinner. Until 2 months before Christmas, an NPC revealed that the Christmas boss will drop resurrection items. Colleagues instantly found the meaning of the sinner's existence. Who delivers the final blow in Sword Art Online? Whoever gets the item drop. In order to monopolize the resurrection item, colleagues decided to take on the Christmas boss solo. He knew how foolish such behavior was. It can be basically confirmed that the resurrection item is... Sword Art Online was designed as a prop during the development of a regular game. We have now entered the death game mode. The chance of getting a resurrection item is less than 1%. And after the character disappears, the real body will also deteriorate quickly. The chances of reviving the Black Cat Gang are less than 1%. The probability of winning a headshot in a one-on-one fight is also less than 1%. But no matter how many possibilities, for those whose spirits are exhausted by fan fiction, it is a kind of solace. The leader almost died in a one-on-one fight, but his comrades were fearless. Or rather, fear of not dying. He really wanted to use his life. Apologized to Shin and the Black Cat Group. To solo the Christmas boss. My colleagues worked day and night for 2 months, frantically flashing the firmware. He hardly sleeps, because I dream about the Black Cat Group every time I fall asleep. In order to clean shoes efficiently, he specifically chose to go to the phone scanning shop at night when there were few people around. People only need to rest briefly while waiting in line. Others need to team up to play. Even after successfully flashing the firmware, they disregarded the dangers and fatigue. Drive alone to do it. This allowed him to reach level 70 within 2 months. 10 levels higher than the strategy team, the battle against the Christmas boss used up all the players' recovery crystals. His health also dropped to the red danger zone for the first time, but after defeating the Santa Claus leader, he felt no joy. Instead, there was only a feeling similar to death. because it wasn't himself who died. He knew that the death game likely wouldn't have any resurrection items, so my hands were trembling when I was searching for items in my backpack. But when I saw the Bible stone at dusk, he felt his heart, which had been numb for months. It was as if fresh blood had flowed in. I can see the letter again, after listening to what he hadn't finished saying. This time, I must hold the letter tightly with both hands and tell him, "It's not that you won't die. Instead, I will protect you." Fans repeatedly wrote new names that were easy to understand. The system displays the physical form of the Bible stone. Players who die within approximately 10 seconds can only be resurrected within approximately 10 seconds. This means that 10 seconds after the character disappears, he fell into a permanent slumber. Fanfiction has reached a standstill. It felt as if all body heat was dissipating from my body. Suddenly, he let out a beast-like roar. "Throw this rotten rock on the snow and stomp on it wildly." It turns out my efforts were meaningless. This world is meaningless. Afterwards, the member handed the St. Quartz to Klein. I returned to the hotel numbly. He intends to take revenge on this meaningless death game. As soon as it gets light, he would go straight to the floor leader. If you defeat the leader, they will continue to rush off the field, until I am temporarily done. After making up one's mind, Fran felt much more relaxed. He sat in the chair. "I don't look at anything. I don't want to think about anything." Silently waiting for dawn, the moonlight shifted its position little by little, eventually replaced by a faint glimmer of dawn. It was exactly 7 o'clock in the morning. When Tongjen was ready to set off, an unfamiliar ringtone entered his ears. This is the recording crystal that Shin left in the shared inventory. He was scheduled to start at 7 o'clock on Christmas morning. Beautiful Gulis Maskigo? The song Shinzui sang was called Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. This is also the origin of Zhang Jieming's red nose and getting lost. This song contains his feelings for his homosexuality. The lyrics are roughly about a little reindeer. He was ridiculed and ostracized because of his red nose. Later, Santa Claus noticed his shiny nose. Let the reindeer help lead the way for the sled at night. The little reindeer who always cried finally found its self-worth. He smiled. "I feel like I'm a little reindeer. Fanfiction feels like Santa Claus." One night, a fan told the letter, "Everyone can do something for others, even if you believe in such a person. There will also be meaning in staying in this place." This letter gradually changed my mindset. Begin to actively search for the meaning of your existence. He glanced at his colleague, the advanced player. He always kept his level hidden to protect himself and the Black Cat gang, guessing that his own fan fiction with the Black Cat team had significant value. Thus, I found meaning in my existence as a weak person. The original work also said, "Now I have a friend in another guild who's just as timid and has a terrible life. My friend stayed in a safe position within the team and fought the whole time. Never go to dangerous floors, but it was still because of bad luck. He was killed after being attacked by a monster while alone. This made the heart realize, no matter how careful you are, they may all be sacrificed in the future." But he no longer feared death as he had before. Instead, they faced their fate with equanimity. Fanfiction writers promise themselves every night that they will not give up. Premonition that if I really sacrifice, that fan would definitely be unable to forgive themselves for breaking their promise. Therefore, he prepared a recording device and a water mirror to clear the way in advance. Sincerely in the form of wishes. Please, colleagues, try your best to survive until the game is completed. Help him find the meaning of this world. And what is the significance of someone as weak as myself coming here? And the significance of his encounter with fan fiction. My heart knows that my life may be short. He also knew that someone as weak as him was utterly worthless in Sword Art Online. But precisely because of this, only he can transcend life and death. Through emotions and memories, transform yourself into a driving force for others to move forward. This may be the meaning that the heart finds for its own existence as a weakling. The recording crystal will play automatically on Christmas. It's because of my last name. I really want to try my best to live until Christmas, walking with my comrades on the snowy street. Tell these things to your colleagues yourself, like the little reindeer lighting up the night for Santa Claus. Illuminate the path for others yourself. This is probably the reason why the author named Zhang Jie Red-Nosed Lost. Thank you for your support.